The council chamber floated in the darkness of space. It was a perfect sphere, bigger than most cities. Inside, 300 years of peace were about to end. Commander Elena Vasquez stood near the back wall. She watched the chaos unfold before her. Representatives from 47 different alien species filled the massive room. Some were screaming. Some were already leaving. The air translation system struggled to keep up with all the different voices. At the center of the chamber, two groups faced each other. On one side stood the Zrathians. They looked like giant insects with hard shells that gleamed under the lights. Their leader, Hive Prince Zirkath, was the largest. His anger filled the room like heat from a fire. On the other side were the Keltherans. They were made of living crystal. Light passed through their bodies in beautiful patterns. Their leader, Crystal Lord Velshar, stood perfectly still. But Elena could see energy building inside him. It looked like lightning trapped in glass. Between them stood Ambassador Quinn. He was from the Trell species. His people had gray skin and wise eyes. He had been trying to make peace for 6 hours. Now he looked tired and old. The reason for all this anger was simple. A Zrathian colony ship had been destroyed. 12,000 souls were dead. The Zrathians had proof that Keltheran weapons did it. The Keltherans had proof that the Zrathians attacked first. Both sides were certain they were right. Elena checked her datapad. 20 minutes until the fleets would be close enough to fight. She could see it on the tactical display. Thousands of ships on both sides. Millions of lives ready to end in fire and violence. Around her, the smaller species were making their choice. Some sided with the Zrathians. Some sided with the Keltherans. Most were just trying to escape before the shooting started. Ships were already leaving the station. Elena was human. Her species had only been traveling in space for 400 years. That was nothing compared to most of the aliens here. Some had been among the stars for thousands of years. Humans were the new kids. Nobody listened to them much. But Elena had skills that came from Earth. Before she joined the diplomatic service, she had been a crisis negotiator. She had talked down terrorists. She had stopped corporate wars. She had saved hostages when everyone else had given up hope. And now, looking at all the evidence on her pad, she saw something. A pattern. It was the same pattern she had seen on Earth 5 years ago. She remembered that day in Neo Singapore. Two massive corporations had been ready to destroy each other. Both had evidence the other side attacked first. The police had been confused. The military had been preparing for war in the streets. Elena had been the one to figure it out. There had been a third party, a smaller company that wanted both giants to fall. They had faked the evidence. They had made it look perfect. But Elena had found the tiny mistakes. Now she looked at the Zrathian evidence. The weapon signatures were correct for Keltheran technology. But something was off. Just a tiny bit. The energy decay was wrong by 0.03%. Most people would never notice. But Elena had trained herself to look for these things. She checked the Keltheran evidence next. It showed Zrathian missiles attacking their space. But again, something was just slightly wrong. The trajectory calculations did not quite match up. Ambassador Quinn raised his hands. His voice carried through the chamber. The translation made it sound flat and tired. I have failed. Mediation is over. I cannot make peace between you. May whatever gods you believe in have mercy on us all. The chamber erupted. Hive Prince Zirkath made a sound like metal scraping stone. Crystal Lord Velshar began to glow brighter. Ships around the station started moving. War was seconds away. Elena made her decision. She stood up. Her legs felt weak, but she made them move. She walked toward the center of the chamber. Wait, she said. Her voice was small in the huge room. The translation system carried it to all the species. For a moment, nothing happened. Then Hive Prince Zirkath turned to look at her. The human speaks? His voice was full of anger and disbelief. You are children. You barely know how to leave your own planet. Sit down, Elena kept walking. Her heart was beating so hard she thought everyone could hear it. But she had learned long ago that fear was just a feeling. You could feel afraid and still do what needed to be done. I request 10 minutes to speak, she said. She tried to keep her voice steady. Several species laughed. It was a strange sound, all those different kinds of laughter mixed together. The Zrathians made a clicking noise. The Keltherans created a chiming sound. We do not have 10 minutes, Crystal Lord Velshar said. His voice sounded like wind through a cave. In 10 minutes, our fleets will be in range. Justice will be served. Elena reached the center now. She stood between the two great powers. She could feel the heat from Zerkath's anger. She could feel the cold energy from Velshar's rage. Both could kill her with a thought. "Sit down, human," Zerkath repeated. "This does not concern your species." Elena looked up at him. Then she looked at Velshar. Then she looked around at all the other species watching her. "I have seen this exact scenario before," she said quietly. Her voice was clear in the sudden silence. "And I know who really destroyed your ship." The chamber went completely silent. Even the sounds of ships leaving stopped. Everyone was looking at her now. One human. Standing between two empires that had been cold enemies for 300 years. "What did you say?" Zerkath leaned down. His face was close to Elena now. She could see her reflection in his black eyes. Elena took a breath. She thought of her daughter back on Earth. She thought of all the people about to die. She thought of her training, all those years of learning to see through lies. "Neither of you attacked the other," she said. "Someone else destroyed that colony ship. Someone who wanted you to blame each other. Someone who needed you to go to war." The silence stretched out. Then Velshar spoke. "Prove it," he said. "You have 9 minutes." 9 minutes. Elena had 9 minutes to prove she was right. 9 minutes to stop a war that would kill billions. She pulled up her datapad. Her hands were shaking, but she made them steady. "I need access to both of your data feeds," she said. "All the sensor readings from the attack." Hive Prince Zerakath made an angry sound. "You want our military intelligence? Our sensor data?" He turned to the other Zrathians. "The human is a spy. She works for them." Crystal Lord Velshar glowed brighter. "We will not share tactical information with anyone, especially not with the Zrathians watching." Elena expected this. She had a plan. She did something that made everyone in the chamber go quiet. She connected her biometric data to the public feed. Suddenly, on all the displays around the chamber, everyone could see her heart rate, her blood pressure, her stress hormones, everything that showed what her body was feeling. "Look at this," she said. Her voice was quiet but clear. "My heart is beating 140 times per minute. My stress levels are off the charts. I am terrified right now." Some of the species made surprised sounds. Humans were known for hiding their feelings. For Elena to show her fear like this was shocking. "I am scared because I am right," Elena continued. "And if you do not listen to me, billions of people will die. People from both your empires. People from all these other species. Maybe even my own people back on Earth." She looked around the chamber. "I am not a spy. I am a human who has seen this pattern before. On my own world, we have hurt each other many times. We have fought wars over lies. We have been tricked into destroying each other by people who wanted to profit from our pain." Ambassador Quinn stepped forward. He studied Elena for a long moment. His old eyes seemed to see right through her. "I believe her," he said finally. "In all my years, I have never seen someone share their fear like this. She is not trying to trick us. She is trying to save us." Zerkath clicked his mandibles together. The sound was like rocks grinding. "This is foolish. We are listening to a child species." But Velshar tilted his head. There was something in his crystalline face that looked like curiosity. "What pattern do you see, human?" Elena pulled up the data on the main display. Everyone could see it now. "Look at the weapon signatures," she said. "The Zrathians found evidence of Keltheran weapons. The energy signature matches your technology perfectly." "Exactly," Zerakath said. "They attacked us." Elena shook her head. "But look closer. The energy decay rate is wrong. It is off by 0.03%. That is a tiny amount. Most species would never notice it. But I was trained to look for tiny mistakes." She switched to the other data. "Now look at what the Keltherans found. Evidence of Zerathian missiles. The trajectory matches your weapons perfectly. See?" Zerakath pointed with one of his clawed hands. "We would never attack them. This proves they attacked us first." Elena zoomed in on the trajectory data. "But the acceleration curve is wrong. Just slightly. Someone copied your technology, but they did not get it exactly right." The chamber was silent now. Everyone was looking at the data. Other species were checking the numbers. Some of them started making noises of surprise. "She is right," one of the smaller species said. The Dravic representative looked shocked. "The numbers are off. Just barely, but they are wrong." "This could be measurement error," Velshar said. But he did not sound certain anymore. "It is not error," Elena said. "On Earth, we call this a false flag operation. It is when someone attacks you but makes it look like someone else did it. They want you to fight each other instead of looking for them." The concept seemed to disturb many of the species. Most of them came from cultures based on honor. The idea of such deception was hard for them to understand. Humans think like this, Zerkath said. His voice was full of disgust. You see conspiracy everywhere. You cannot trust anyone. This is why you are barely in space. You spend all your time fighting each other. Elena felt the words like a slap, but she knew he was partly right. Humans had fought terrible wars. They had lied to each other. They had done awful things, yes, she said quietly. We have done terrible things to each other. We have been tricked. We have been manipulated. We know what it looks like because we have survived it. That is why I can see it now. She checked the time. 7 minutes left. Her hands were still shaking. Listen to me. If I'm wrong, you lose 7 minutes. Then you can start your war. But if I am right and you ignore me, someone else wins. Someone who wants you both destroyed. Who? Velshar asked. Who would do this? Elena pulled up more data. She had been analyzing it while they talked. I looked at who would benefit from your war. Someone with advanced weapons technology. Someone with cloaking abilities. Someone small enough that nobody pays attention to them. She displayed a star map. The Vorsh Concordat. They are a minor species. Only 20 star systems. But they have been buying weapons for decades. Advanced weapons. Why would such a small group need so much firepower? The Vorsh representative made a choking sound. He stood up quickly. This is insane. We are peaceful. We would never do such a thing. Elena kept going. She had to make them understand. They cannot win a war against either of you. But what if you fight each other? What if you destroy each other? Then the Vorsh could salvage the ruins. They could take technology from both empires. They could become a major power. This is just a theory, Zerkath said. But he sounded less certain. You have no proof. Then let me get proof, Elena said. She looked at both leaders. I need 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes to prove I am right? How? Velshar asked. Elena took a deep breath. If I am right, the weapon platform is still there. The Vorsh used a cloaked platform to fire on the colony ship. They needed to stay in position to record everything, to make their fake evidence look real. That platform should still be in the exact same spot. She pulled up coordinates. Here, in neutral space. Both your fleets can scan this location. If you combine your sensors, you can see through the cloak. The two leaders looked at each other. For 300 years, they had been enemies. They had never worked together, never shared tactical data. The idea seemed impossible. There is a problem, Zerkath said. If we share our sensor data, they will see our fleet positions, our weaknesses. They could use it against us. The same is true for us, Velshar added. We cannot share such information with them. Elena made her final gamble. The thing that would either save everyone or doom her. Then I will be your hostage, she said. I will fly my shuttle to those coordinates. Both your fleets can target me. If either of you tries to attack the other, I will be in the way. You will have to kill me first. The chamber erupted in noise. Many species were shouting. Ambassador Quinn reached out to stop her. You cannot do this. They will kill you. Elena looked at him. Then she looked at the tactical display. 5 minutes until the fleet's engaged. Maybe I will die, she said. But if I do nothing, billions die. I choose to try. She started walking toward the docking bay. Behind her, she heard Zerkath and Velshar arguing with their advisors. She heard other species debating. She heard the Vorsh representative trying to leave. Elena kept walking. Her shuttle was small, just enough room for one person. She climbed in and sealed the door. Her fingers moved over the controls. She had trained for shuttle piloting, but this was different. This was flying into the middle of 2 war fleets. She set the course for the coordinates. Then she activated every transmitter on the shuttle. She made herself the most visible target in the entire sector. Come on, she whispered. Trust me. Just this once, trust a human. The shuttle left the station. Space was full of ships. Zrethian vessels that looked like huge insects. Keltheran ships that glowed with inner light. And far behind, the ships of 45 other species, all watching to see what would happen. Elena flew toward the coordinates. Her shuttle was so small compared to everything around her. She felt like a mouse between 2 lions. Then her communicator crackled. It was Zerkath. His voice was hard and cold. We are scanning the coordinates. If you are wrong, human, you will die for nothing. Another voice joined. Velshar, we are also scanning. May your sacrifice not be in vain. Elena closed her eyes for a moment. Then she opened them and looked at the stars. She thought of her daughter. She thought of Earth. She thought of all the people who would die if she was wrong. "I am not wrong," she said quietly. The seconds ticked by. The sensors on both fleets worked together for the first time in 300 years. They combined their data. They looked through the emptiness of space for something that was supposed to be invisible. And then they found it. The voice came through on all frequencies. It was Zerkath, and for the first time he sounded uncertain. "We have found something. There is a structure at the coordinates. It is cloaked, but we can see it now." Elena let out a breath she did not know she had been holding. Her whole body felt weak with relief. "I was right. Thank God I was right." Velshar's voice joined the channel. "It is a weapons platform. Force design. It has been in power save mode. The data banks are intact." Elena pulled up the scans on her shuttle display. She could see it now. The platform was small, about the size of a house. It had weapon systems powerful enough to destroy a colony ship, and it had recording equipment. Everything needed to create perfect fake evidence. "Can you access the data banks?" Elena asked. "The recording of the attack should be there. The real recording before they edited it." There was a pause. Elena watched her sensors. Both fleets were moving closer to the platform. For a moment she wondered if they would start fighting over it. But they stayed on their own sides. They were still cooperating, still trusting each other enough to see this through. "We are downloading the data now," Zerkath said. His voice was strange, quiet and shocked. Then Velshar spoke. The human was correct. "The data shows the platform firing on the Zarathian colony ship. There are also files showing how they edited the sensor logs, how they made it look like our weapons, how they made it look like Zarathian missiles attacked our space." Elena closed her eyes. Her heart was still racing, but now it was from relief, not fear. "We need to see all of it. Send the data to the council chamber. Let everyone see the truth. There is more," Zerkath said. His voice was filled with rage now, much more. Plans for 16 additional attacks. The Vorsh were going to continue this for years. They wanted to make sure the war happened. Elena felt cold. 16 more attacks. 16 more chances for the empires to destroy each other. The Vorsh had planned this carefully. They had been patient. They had been willing to wait for years to get what they wanted. Suddenly, alarms started blaring in her shuttle. Elena looked at her sensors. The weapons platform was powering up. Its guns were moving. They were targeting her shuttle. The Vorsh, she realized. They know we found the platform. They are trying to destroy the evidence. And I'm right next to it. She grabbed the controls. Her training took over. She pushed the shuttle into a turn, trying to put distance between herself and the platform. But she knew it was too slow. The weapons were charging. In seconds, they would fire. "They are going to fire," Elena said into the comm. Her voice was surprisingly calm. "Destroy the platform. Do it now." "But you are too close," Velshar said. "You will be caught in the explosion." Elena looked at the targeting display. The platform was locked on her. There was no time to escape. "Better me than billions of others. Fire." She closed her eyes. She thought of her daughter one more time. She thought of Earth. She thought about how proud she was to have saved so many lives. Then she heard weapons fire. 2 different sounds perfectly synchronized. She opened her eyes and looked at her sensors. Zarathian fighters were streaking past her shuttle. Their weapons blazed with blue energy. From the other direction came Keltheran ships, their crystal hulls glowing bright. Their weapons fired beams of pure light. Both attacks hit the weapons platform at exactly the same moment. The structure exploded in a ball of fire. But the fighters had positioned themselves between Elena and the blast. They took the force of the explosion. They protected her. The shockwave hit her shuttle. It spun and tumbled through space. Alarms screamed. Systems flickered. But she was alive. The fighters had saved her. Elena fought with the controls. Slowly, she got the shuttle stable again. She checked her sensors. The fighters were damaged but still flying. Both Zarathian and Keltheran ships stayed in position, guarding her. "Thank you," she whispered. She did not know if they could hear her. "Thank you." Uruk's voice came through. "You were willing to die for the truth. The least we could do was make sure you did not have to," Velshar added. "That was the first joint military operation between our species in 300 years. It seemed fitting that it was to save the one who saved us all." Elena felt tears on her face. She was shaking now. All the fear and stress and adrenaline were catching up to her, but she was alive. And the war had been stopped. The fighters escorted her back to the council station. As she flew through space, She could see both fleets standing down. Ships were powering down weapons. Shields were dropping. The war that had been seconds away was not going to happen. When Elena docked at the station, she could barely walk. Her legs felt like water. Ambassador Quinn was there to meet her. He put a hand on her shoulder to steady her. "You did it," he said. His old eyes were bright. "You actually did it," Elena just nodded. She did not trust herself to speak yet. They returned to the council chamber. It was different now. The chaos was gone. Instead, there was a strange quiet. All 47 species were watching the main display. The Vorsh data was being shown to everyone, the unedited footage of the attack, the plans for future attacks, the communications between Vorsh leaders discussing how much profit they would make. The Vorsh representative was being held by security. His face was gray with fear. Other Vorsh officials were being arrested in their home systems. The conspiracy was falling apart. Elena walked to the center of the chamber. She felt every eye on her. Zerkath and Velshar were both there, the two great leaders who had been enemies for so long. Zerkath approached her first. He was huge, towering over her. For a moment, Elena thought he might be angry. But then he lowered his head. It was a gesture of respect in Zrathian culture. "You saved 12,000 of my people who are still alive in other colonies," he said. "You saved billions more who would have died in the war. In my culture, there is only one way to honor such a deed." He touched her forehead with one claw. Elena felt a strange warmth spread through her. "What are you doing?" she asked. "I am giving you a genetic tribute," Zerkath explained. "Your DNA will be incorporated into our hive memory. Every Zerathian who is born from this day forward will carry a memory of you. For 10,000 generations, my people will remember Elena Vasquez, the human who stopped a war." Elena did not know what to say. The honor was beyond anything she had imagined. "Thank you," she finally managed. Velshar approached next. His crystalline body pulsed with light. "I have analyzed your decision patterns," he said. "Your ability to see order in chaos, to find truth in deception. It is remarkable." He gestured and a device appeared. "This contains Keltheran technology, medical advances, energy systems, communication methods. We do not share our technology easily, but your species has earned it. Perhaps your unique perspective is exactly what the galaxy needs." Elena accepted the device with shaking hands. Both empires were honoring her. Both were offering friendship to humanity. It was more than she had ever hoped for. Ambassador Quinn stepped forward. He addressed the entire chamber. "Today we have seen something remarkable. A young species, one we often dismissed as paranoid and suspicious, has saved us all. Perhaps we should reconsider what we think we know about humanity." Many species made sounds of agreement. Elena felt overwhelmed. She had come here as a minor representative of a minor species. Now she was being celebrated by the entire galaxy. But something bothered her. She had been reviewing the Vorsh data while they talked. And she had found something strange. "Wait," she said. The celebration quieted. Everyone looked at her. "There is something else in the data. Something the Vorsh did not create themselves." She pulled up a file on the main display. Communication logs. The Vorsh were talking to someone who gave them the cloaking technology, someone who helped them plan the attacks. The chamber went silent. Everyone was reading the logs. The communications were encoded, but parts of it were clear. Someone had been helping the Vorsh. Someone with advanced technology. Someone who wanted the war even more than the Vorsh did. Elena traced the signal. It took her a moment to understand what she was seeing. Then she felt cold all over. "The signal," she said slowly. "It is not from inside the galaxy. It is coming from outside, from somewhere in deep space between galaxies." The chamber erupted in noise. Species were arguing and shouting. But Elena just stared at the display. Someone out there had wanted this war. The Vorsh had just been tools. Puppets controlled by someone else. She looked at Zerkath and Velshar. This was not about salvage rights or profit. This was something bigger. Someone tested us. They wanted to see if we would destroy ourselves. Velshar's light flickered. "But why? Who would do this?" Elena shook her head. "I do not know. But I think we need to find out." 3 months had passed since the day Elena stopped the war. She still had trouble believing it had really happened. Sometimes she would wake up at night, her heart racing, remembering the moment she thought she was going to die. But she had not died. Instead, she had been given a job that nobody expected. The council had created a new position, Chief of Galactic Security, and they had given it to a human. To her. Now Elena stood in her office on a station orbiting Earth. She could see her home planet through the window, the blue and green world where she had been born, where her daughter still lived. It felt strange to be so close to home but so far from a normal life. Her office was full of displays showing data from across the galaxy. She had a team now. Scientists and military officers from 20 different species. They were all working on the same question. Who had sent that signal from outside the galaxy? The answer had come 2 weeks ago. And it was worse than anyone had imagined. Elena pulled up the file again. She had read it 100 times, but it still made her feel cold inside. The signal had led them to an ancient probe. It was drifting in the space between galaxies. The probe was old. So old that most species could not even imagine it. 100 million years old. It had been built by something called the Harvest Collective, a civilization that had died long before most current species had even evolved. But before they died, they had built these probes, sent them out to every galaxy, gave them a mission that would last forever. The mission was simple and terrible. Watch for species that achieved space travel, study them, test them, see if they were ready. Ready for what? Elena had asked when she first read the report. The scientist who made the discovery had looked at her with frightened eyes. Ready for contact with the rest of the universe, the Harvest Collective believed that species had to prove they could work together, that they could see through deception, that they could choose peace over war. If they failed the test, the probe would just watch them destroy themselves. Elena had asked the next obvious question. How many galaxies have passed this test? The scientist had shown her the data. The probe had visited 47 galaxies. In 34 of them, the civilizations had failed. They had gone to war. They had destroyed themselves. Only 13 had passed. Their galaxy had been seconds away from becoming number 35. Now Elena had to present these findings to the full council. She had to tell them that they had been tested by a machine older than their oldest legends. The 34 other galaxies full of life had destroyed themselves. That they had almost done the same. She gathered her reports and headed to the council chamber. It was the same place where everything had happened 3 months ago. But it felt different now. There was cooperation where there had been hostility. There was hope where there had been despair. The chamber filled with representatives. All 47 species were there. Zirkath stood with his Zrathian delegation. Velshar glowed softly among the Kelthurans. Ambassador Quinn sat in his usual place looking proud. But there were also new faces. The vote was today. The vote that would determine humanity's place in the galaxy. Would they be full members of the council? Or would they remain probationary, watched and restricted? Elena presented her findings. She showed them the probe. She explained the test. She told them about the 34 galaxies that had failed. She watched their faces as they understood how close they had come to joining that list. When she finished, the chamber was silent. Then one of the smaller species spoke up, a representative from the Krix delegation. This proves that humanity is dangerous, the Krix said. They see deception because they practice it. They understand war because they wage it. We should be grateful for what Elena Vasquez did, but we should not trust her species with full membership. Several other species made sounds of agreement. Elena had expected this. Humans had a reputation. They were known for being paranoid, for fighting among themselves, for seeing threats everywhere. But Zirkath stood up. His massive form dominated the chamber. I disagree. The very traits you fear are what saved us all. Humans see deception because they have survived it. They understand war because they have learned from it. They are not perfect. But neither are we, Velshar added his voice. I have studied human history. They have committed terrible acts, but they have also shown remarkable growth. They learn from their mistakes. They teach their children to do better. This is not weakness. It is wisdom. The debate went on for hours. Species argued for and against humanity. Some pointed to human violence. Others pointed to human innovation. Some feared human deception. Others valued human insight. Finally, Ambassador Quinn called for silence. He looked tired but determined. Elena Vasquez has requested to speak before the vote. I believe we should hear what she has to say. Elena stood. She had prepared a speech, something diplomatic and careful, but standing there looking at all those species, she decided to do something different. She decided to tell them the truth. You are right to fear us, she began. Humans have done terrible things. We have lied. We have betrayed each other. We have fought wars over resources, over beliefs, over pride. We have committed atrocities that still haunt us. The chamber was completely silent. Elena continued, but we learned. Every time we failed, we studied why. Every time we hurt each other, we asked how to prevent it next time. We built museums to remember our mistakes. We wrote books about our failures. We taught our children what went wrong and how to do better. She looked around the chamber. We made truth-seeking a survival trait. We trained ourselves to recognize patterns of deception because we had to. On Earth, if you could not see a lie, you died. If you could not recognize manipulation, you lost everything. So we got very, very good at it. Elena took a breath. You want to know if humans belong in the galactic community? I cannot promise we will never make mistakes. I cannot promise we will always be right. But I can promise you this. When darkness comes, and it will come, humanity will recognize it. Because we have been there ourselves. She paused. We are not asking you to trust us because we are perfect. We are asking you to trust us because we understand imperfection. We know what it is to fail. We know what it is to rebuild. And we know what it is to choose to do better. Elena sat down. Her heart was pounding. She had said everything she wanted to say. Now it was up to them. The vote was called. Species cast their decisions one by one. Elena watched the numbers appear on the display. Green for yes, red for no, yellow for abstain. The numbers climbed. 38 votes for full membership, 9 votes against, 3 abstentions. It was enough. Humanity had passed. The chamber erupted in sound. Some species were celebrating. Others were arguing. But it was done. Humans were now full members of the Galactic Council. Elena felt overwhelmed. She had carried the weight of her species on her shoulders. And somehow, impossibly, they had made it. Ambassador Quinn approached her. He was smiling. Well done, Commander Vasquez. You have given humanity a place at the table. What you do with it is up to all of you now. 2 weeks later, Elena returned to Earth. She had earned leave time. She needed to see her daughter. Needed to remember why all of this mattered. Her daughter was 12 now. They spent the day together just walking and talking. Elena told her about the stars, about the species out there, about the future that was waiting for humanity. They visited a memorial. It was a place that honored all the species who had been lost to preventable conflicts. Elena planted a tree there, a gift from Zerkath, a Zerathian seed that would grow into something beautiful and strange. A symbol of friendship between two species who had almost destroyed each other. That night, back on her station, Elena received a final message from the probe. It had completed its mission. It had marked their galaxy as having passed the test. Now it was moving on, traveling to the next galaxy, to test the next group of species, to see if they could choose unity over destruction. But the probe had left something behind. Coordinates, 47 sets of coordinates, the locations of the other galaxies that had passed the test. Elena looked at the data. Somewhere out there, in galaxies so far away that light took millions of years to travel between them, were other species, other civilizations who had faced the same test, who had chosen peace, who had learned to work together. The universe was so much bigger than they had known, and now, for the first time, they were ready to meet it. Elena sent a message to the council. She told them about the coordinates. She told them what it meant. They were not alone. They were part of something bigger. A community of galaxies who had all chosen the same thing. Understanding over hatred, truth over deception, peace over war. The responses came quickly. Species from across the galaxy wanted to explore, wanted to reach out, wanted to meet these other civilizations, but that would take time. The distances were enormous. Even with the fastest ships, it would take years to reach the nearest galaxy. Decades to establish communication. Centuries to build real relationships. Elena did not mind. She had learned patience. She had learned that the most important things took time. Change happened slowly. Trust was built gradually. Peace was maintained day by day, choice by choice. She looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, the probe was traveling onward, testing the next galaxy. 5 years had passed since the day Elena Vasquez stood between two empires and stopped a war. The galaxy had changed in ways nobody could have predicted. Elena was 39 now. Her hair had some gray in it. She had lines on her face that had not been there before, but her eyes were still sharp. Still watching, still looking for patterns in the chaos. She sat in a conference room on a new station. This one was different from the council chamber. It was built by cooperation, Thrathian engineering combined with Keltheran energy systems. Human life support merged with Trell environmental controls. 20 different species working together to create something none of them could have built alone. Around the table sat representatives from all 47 species. But they were not here to argue. They were here to plan, to dream, to imagine what came next. The first contact mission was ready. They had built a ship capable of traveling between galaxies. It would take 10 years to reach the nearest galaxy on the probe's list. But they were going. They were going to meet other species who had passed the test. Elena was not going on the mission. She had other work to do. But she had helped choose the crew. Diplomats from a dozen species, scientists, explorers, people who could represent the best of what their galaxy had become. The meeting ended and people began to leave. Zerkath approached her. He was older now, too. His shell had darker colors mixed into it. Signs of age in Zrathian terms. "My daughter was born last month," he said. His voice had a warmth that Elena had never heard in it before. "She carries your memory in her genes. When she grows, she will know what you did for us. All my children will know," Elena smiled. That still amazed her. To be remembered in another species' DNA. To be part of their story forever. "What will you tell her about humans?" Zerkath clicked his mandibles softly. "I will tell her the truth. That humans see darkness because they have lived through it. That they understand deception because they have survived it. That when we needed someone to save us, it was a human who stood in the path of war and won." Belshar joined them. His crystalline form pulsed with soft light. He had changed too. There was more color in his structure now. Blues and greens mixed with the clear crystal. A sign of peace in Keltheran culture. "The technology exchange has been productive," he said. "Human medical techniques combined with our energy systems have saved millions of lives. Your species has much to teach us." Elena looked at both of them. 5 years ago, you were seconds from destroying each other. Now you work together like it was always meant to be this way. How did that happen?" Zerkath and Velshar glanced at each other. They had become friends, these two leaders. It was strange and wonderful to see. "We learned," Velshar said simply. "We learned that the enemy we feared was not each other. The real enemy was ignorance, suspicion, the willingness to believe the worst without questioning. And we learned from you," Zerkath added. "Humans question everything. You look for the truth beneath the surface. At first we thought it was paranoia. Now we understand it is wisdom." Elena felt emotion rising in her chest. She had spent so much of her life feeling like humans were outsiders, like they did not belong in the larger galaxy. Hearing these words from species that had been traveling the stars for thousands of years meant everything. Later that day, Elena returned to her quarters. She had a video call scheduled. Her daughter was 17 now, getting ready to apply to universities. She wanted to study xenobiology, to work with alien species, to build bridges like her mother had. They talked for an hour. About school, about friends, about dreams. Normal things, beautiful things. The kind of things that were only possible because the galaxy was at peace. After the call ended, Elena stood at her window. She looked out at the stars. So many of them. So much possibility. Her communicator chimed. It was Ambassador Quinn. He was retiring after 40 years of service, but he wanted to see her one more time. They met in a quiet garden on the station. Real plants from 20 different worlds grew together here. Another symbol of cooperation. Another sign of what they had built. Quinn looked old now. His gray skin had more lines. He moved more slowly, but his eyes were still bright with intelligence. "I wanted to thank you," he said, "for trusting yourself, for being brave when everyone else had given up hope." Elena sat beside him. "I was terrified. I still have nightmares about it." Quinn nodded. "Courage is not the absence of fear. It is doing what must be done despite the fear. You showed us all what that looks like." They sat in comfortable silence for a while. Then Quinn spoke again. "Do you know what I have learned in 40 years of diplomatic service? The galaxy does not need perfect species. It needs species willing to grow, willing to learn from mistakes, willing to try again when they fail. That is what humans bring to us. The knowledge that failure is not the end. It is just another beginning." Elena felt tears on her face. She did not try to hide them. "Thank you for believing in me when nobody else did." Quinn smiled. I believed in you because I saw something in your eyes. The same thing I see in every human I meet. You never stop trying. You never accept defeat as final. That is a gift. Use it well. That night, Elena could not sleep. She went to the observation deck. It was late in the station's cycle. Most people were asleep. She had the place to herself. She pulled up the star charts. 47 galaxies had passed the test. 47 communities of species who had chosen cooperation over destruction. And somewhere right now the probe was testing another galaxy, seeing if they too could find unity. Elena thought about all the galaxies that had failed. 34 of them, billions of lives lost to wars that did not need to happen. Species destroyed by lies they did not recognize. Civilizations ended because they could not work together. It made her sad, but it also made her grateful. Her galaxy had been seconds from the same fate. One human standing in the right place at the right time had changed everything. But Elena knew the truth. It was not just her. It was every human who had suffered through war and said never again. It was every person who had been lied to and learned to see through deception. It was thousands of years of human history. All the pain, all the mistakes, all the lessons learned the hard way. That history had prepared her for the moment when she needed to see the truth. When she needed to stand up and say wait, when she needed to risk everything to save everyone. Her communicator chimed again. It was a message from the contact ship. They were ready to launch. The first mission to another galaxy. The beginning of something new. Elena watched on her display as the ship powered up. It was beautiful. Sleek lines and glowing energy. A combination of technologies from species who had learned to trust each other. The ship began to move. Slowly at first, then faster. It left the station behind. Left the galaxy behind. Headed for the darkness between stars. Headed for the unknown. Elena smiled through her tears. She was not on that ship. But in a way she was with them. Her daughter's generation would see the results of this mission. Would meet these new species. Would build new friendships. Would expand what it meant to be part of a galactic community. And it was all possible because 5 years ago, a human had seen a pattern, had recognized a lie, had chosen to act instead of accepting the inevitable. Elena recorded a message. She had been asked to send words of encouragement to the contact mission. She thought carefully about what to say. This is Commander Elena Vasquez. I want to tell you something important. 5 years ago, our galaxy was seconds from war. We were about to destroy ourselves over a lie, but we did not. We chose to question, to investigate, to work together. We chose truth over deception, unity over hatred, peace over war. She paused, finding the right words. Now you go to meet others who made the same choice. Other galaxies, other species, other civilizations who faced darkness and chose light. You carry with you the hopes of everyone in our galaxy, every species, every world, every person who dreams of a future where we are not alone. Her voice grew stronger. The universe is vast, bigger than we can imagine, and for the first time we are ready to meet it. Not as separate species competing for survival, but as a community, as friends, as partners who have learned that together we are stronger than we ever could be alone. She looked out at the stars one more time. This is just the beginning. And for once I am not worried, because now we are not just ready for the universe. We are ready for each other. Safe travels, and may you find friends among the stars. She sent the message. Then she stood there, watching the ship disappear into the distance, watching it become a point of light, then watching it vanish completely into the dark. But Elena did not feel sad. She felt hopeful, because that ship represented everything they had become, everything they had learned, everything they had built together. The galaxy had been seconds from war. A single human had stood in the path, and she had won, but it was not really about winning. It was about choosing, about deciding that peace was worth fighting for. That truth was worth seeking. That unity was worth building. Elena turned away from the window. She had work to do. The galaxy still needed protecting, still needed someone to watch for patterns, to question what seemed obvious, to look for the truth beneath the lies, and that someone was her. It would always be her, because she was human, and humans never stopped looking, never stopped questioning, never stopped trying to make things better.